Close your eyes for a second. Imagine someone handed you a blank piece of paper and said, build the car of your dreams. No rules, no committees, no shareholder meetings, no compromise. Just you, your obsession, and a budget that makes most people physically uncomfortable. What would you build? Because somewhere in Italy, a man who used to race rally cars at the absolute edge of human sanity sat down with that exact blank sheet of paper. And what came out of it is something that genuinely made the automotive world stop scrolling. This car has a 1,000 horsepower engine, a manual gearbox, and it was built in partnership with I'm going to need you to really sit with this Koenigsegg, the Swedish hypercar gods who build machines that literally break physics for fun. Italy, Sweden, 1,000 horsepower, a stick shift. This is not a car, this is an event. Here's the thing, nobody is telling you about the modern hypercar world. It's gotten boring, not in the performance sense, obviously not. These machines will rip your soul out through your eye sockets, but emotionally, spiritually, we've lost something. Every new hypercar announcement feels like a press release from a tech company. Torque figures, battery capacity, regeneration percentages, carbon footprint offsetting programs. It all blurs into this gray, sanitized, algorithmically approved nothing. And then out of absolutely nowhere, a tiny Italian brand no one outside of hardcore automotive circles had even heard of 3 years ago drops something that makes you feel 17 again. Standing in a bedroom with a poster on your wall of a car that felt like it shouldn't be legal to exist. The Chimera K39. And this is its story, the brand nobody saw coming. Let's be honest about something. When you hear new Italian hypercar brand, your default reaction is probably healthy skepticism, because the graveyard of failed Italian supercar dreams is genuinely enormous. Beautiful renders, breathless press releases, ambitious promises, and then silence. A ghost website, an Instagram account that stopped posting in 2021. We've all seen it. Chimera Automobili was different, and here's the proof. They already made 2 cars before this one. The Evo 37 and Evo 38 both have stunning restomods paying tribute to one of the most legendary machines in rally history, the Lancia 037, the last rear-wheel drive car to ever win the World Rally Championship in 1983. If you know anything about Group B rallying, you understand the absolute lunacy that achievement represents. So when Chimera said they were done with restomods, done with paying tribute, done looking backward, and that they were building something entirely new from the ground up, the few people paying attention got very, very quiet. And then I was very, very excited. The K39 is not a restomod, it's not a tribute, it's not a continuation. It's a statement, a carbon fiber monocoque, a mid-mounted engine, rear-wheel drive only, and a gearbox that requires you to actually use your left hand and your left foot in 2025, which is either the most insane decision a hypercar company can make, or the most brilliant one. Maybe both. The engine that changed everything now. We need to talk about the engine, because this is where the story goes from interesting to absolutely unhinged. Every hypercar company needs a powertrain. The big players either build their own, which costs astronomical amounts of money and time, or they go shopping. Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren have the resources, the heritage, the engineering departments. A young upstart Italian brand, they need a partner, and the partner Chimera chose is so unexpected, so genuinely shocking, that when the news broke, automotive journalists genuinely read it twice to make sure they hadn't misunderstood. Koenigsegg. They went to Koenigsegg. This is the Swedish hypercar company that builds cars with names like Jesko and Agera and Regera. Cars that have set top speed records that still haven't been beaten. Cars that have more patents per vehicle than some technology companies file in a year. Koenigsegg is not a supplier. Koenigsegg is barely even a car company in the traditional sense. They're closer to a collection of obsessive engineers who occasionally allow the public to purchase their scientific experiments. And yet, Luca Betti, the ex-WRC rally driver who founded Chimera, somehow walked into that Swedish factory and walked out with a deal. A 5.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 newton meters of torque, spinning to over 8,000 revolutions per minute in a car targeting 1,100 kilograms. You can do that maths in your head, and the number you land on is genuinely frightening. The Ferrari F40 nobody expected. Now I want you to think about the Ferrari F40 for a moment. Just picture it, that savage, uncompromising, angry red slab of aerodynamic violence that Enzo Ferrari himself called his greatest achievement. Twin-turbo V8, manual gearbox, no driver aids, no traction control, no concessions to comfort or civility, just raw, terrifying speed wrapped in carbon and Kevlar. It came out in 1987, and it still makes grown adults emotional to look at. We have spent nearly 4 decades waiting for something to fill that spiritual void. And here's what's interesting about the K39. Nobody planned it this way, nobody announced it this way, but the more you look at it, the more the comparison becomes unavoidable. Twin turbocharged V8 engine, manual gearbox, rear-wheel drive only, an exhaust note that will almost certainly remove paint from nearby walls, and design details 4 ventilation slats across the rear flank that feel less like coincidence and more like deliberate, loving, deeply felt homage. The design that stops traffic. Speaking of the way it looks, because we need to talk about this, the K39 is genuinely one of the most visually arresting things to happen to automotive design in recent memory. It has this quality that's almost impossible to articulate. It looks like it was designed by someone who genuinely did not care what anyone else thought. Not in an arrogant way, in a free way. The front end carries a family resemblance to the earlier Camaro cars, those circular headlights arranged in a classic quad formation. But then, in the middle of each cluster, hidden until you need them, pop-up headlights emerge from behind the housing. Pop-up headlights in 2025, appearing inside a larger circular light cluster. It's the kind of detail that makes automotive designers either furious or deeply jealous, and probably both simultaneously. The track monster hiding in the shadows. And then there is the other one, parked in the shadows behind the road-legal K39, barely visible until your eyes adjust, is something that makes the road car look conservative. Something that makes the road car look almost sensible. The K39 Pikes Peak. 10 cars, just 10. Built for the owners who don't just want to be associated with something special, they want to be associated with something that will try to climb a mountain faster than anything else in history. Pikes Peak, the legendary American hill climb where the air gets thin and the corners disappear, and the fastest cars in the world occasionally defy what physics suggests should be possible. The Pikes Peak version shares the same engine, the same fundamental architecture, but everything else has been turned up past 11, and the dial has been snapped off. 3 separate front splitters stacked like geological layers, each one grabbing more air and converting more of it into downforce. A rear wing so enormous it looks structurally implausible from certain angles. Side fins that protrude so aggressively they create their own micro-weather systems. A ram air roof scoop rising from the top of the car, embossed with "powered by Koenigsegg," because at this point, subtlety is not part of the conversation. The man behind the madness. Luca Betti is not a businessman who decided to make a hypercar. He is a racing driver who decided to build a company around his obsession, and that distinction matters enormously. There's a completely different energy that comes from someone who has actually driven on the absolute limit, who knows what a car feels like when it's speaking to you, when it's communicating, when the machine and the human become one terrifying organism moving through space together. When he talks about the K39, he talks about smell, the smell of fuel, the feeling of materials under your hands that have weight and texture and honesty. He talks about connection to something real, something true, something that the modern automotive world has quietly and efficiently been scrubbing away in the name of progress and efficiency and electrification. He sees 3 kings at the top of the hypercar world: Koenigsegg for pure innovation, Bugatti for uncompromising luxury, and Pagani for aesthetic emotion taken to its absolute extreme. And he has positioned Camaro in the gap between all 3, the motorsport seat at the table, the car for the person who doesn't just want to own something rare, they want to feel something visceral every single time they get in. And yet, there is a specific hunger that none of it fully satisfies. A hunger for something that doesn't just perform but means something. Something that carries history and emotion and personality and danger in equal measure. The kind of car that your grandfather would have been terrified by and your children will tell stories about. The Camaro K39 might be that car. 1,000 horsepower Swedish heart beating inside an Italian body, shifted through the gears by your own hand, on your own terms, with no safety net and no apology. Some cars are transportation, some cars are technology, and some cars very rarely and almost never from brands you expected are art. This one might just be art.